my special guests, Paris and Kathy Hilton. Now, let's cut to the quick here. Your career was toddling along quite nicely, and then came this infamous sex tape, and you were suddenly catapulted into this completely different modern celebrity. Take me back to, I don't want to labour the point on this, but take me back, the moment you knew this was all going to go public, how did you actually feel?
I was in shock. I had no idea, and we were in Australia when I heard the news that someone had been sent a clip, one of the entertainment shows, and I didn't believe it at first, and then when I landed back in LA is when I saw what happened, and it was the most embarrassing, humiliating thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Did you call your mum?
Yeah, I did. I was so embarrassed to even call her and tell her about it.
How do you even begin to tell your mother something like that?
I just called her.
Do you remember,
crying.
Kathy?
You know, I don't. It's all like a fog right now. And it was a very difficult time.
I mean, although...
To keep her home for like 3 months straight was, you know, it had to have been very embarrassing.
Which is what you had to do as a family to try and protect Paris.
Well, she would not leave the house. I mean, she was... So it was very... And we lived in New York, too, so wherever you're going, there are those boxes with the newspapers, with the New York Post, the Daily News, and it was constantly, you know, I'd have to take my sons to school and walk them in, and it would be sitting on the front, you know, at the reception desk.
I mean, nothing worse for a mother, I wouldn't have thought, to see a daughter exposed in that way. And however much people look at you, Paris, over it all, I know from talking to you before about this, this is, you know, it's an incredibly invasive thing for any woman to have to go through. You know, you're not in the adult entertainment industry.
Yeah.
This was not for public consumption. And obviously, I'm sure you ever putting anything on tape like that, but that still doesn't merit what happened.
Yeah.
How did you get her back on track?
We had therapy, and I think that really helped.
What do you say to someone who was in Paris's position? What can you say?
I didn't know what to say. So that's why I reached out for professional help.
How did you...
And also to be able, so that, you know, to help so I could, you know, explain to my sons and Nikki, you know, our whole family was affected, my husband.
What did you think of the people that put it out there? Honestly.
Well, let's just, you know, I don't like... not good.
What do you feel about them now?
I just felt so betrayed. This is not some random guy. This was someone I was with for a few years.
That you loved?
I thought I did, and I can't believe that he would do something like that to me. It's something that changed my life forever. You know, when I was a little girl, I looked up to people like Princess Diana and these women, and I feel like he took that away from me. And this is not, and I didn't want to be known as that. And it's, now when people look at me, they think that I'm something I'm not, just because of one incident one night with someone who I was in love with. People assume, oh, she's a slut, just because of one thing that happened. It's hard because I'll have to live with that for the rest of my life and explain it to my children, and it's something that's changed my life forever, and I'll never be able to erase it.
I mean, the worst thing about it in me, and I can tell how upsetting this is for you, Kathy, I totally understand that. Is the worst thing for both of you the fact that the internet, which in many ways...
A tissue.
Yeah, it'll break.
No, it's okay, I'll just...
We'll get you a tissue. You okay, Kathy? Here you go.
Thank you.
Leave the box here, so, yeah. Is the worst thing about this the fact that the internet, which in many ways, has helped you become this huge star. Nothing to do with this tape, but just generally, you use the media and the internet tool for you with your website and everything else. The worst thing for both of you is that this is always going to be there,
Yes.
one click away.
It's part of your landscape.
I could tap in, Paris Hilton sex tape on Google, and up it comes.
Right.
Just page after page of links to this tape. You can never extinguish it. It's
Right.
there. It's there forever. And like you said, you're going to have children one day.
Right.
Your grandchildren. They're going to be able to find this, and they will find it, and they will see it. And I can't imagine how awful that must be.
It's stupid, and we didn't have cameras like that when I was a teenager, or we weren't you just can't take pictures and do stupid things and with somebody that you're with, because you just never know. And Paris, that's the one thing that really drives me crazy about her. She's so trusting and daring, and she's learned too. And also, when you ask me how we reacted with her, she knew she was as hurt as we were, and seeing us in pain and seeing her in pain, it was just like we just all there, and we're just supporting each other.
I mean, extraordinarily, I see people now.
And it doesn't go away. I mean, that it's something that will always.
I mean, I see people now, pretty low-ranking celebrities, who I suspect most deliberately creating sex tapes and putting them out there.
Like it's some recipe.
Yeah, like it's almost part of becoming a celebrity.
Well, I can say this, that Paris already had, 14 or 12 performances in Vanity Fair. I think that we have to give Donald Trump and also Graydon Carter from Vanity Fair some credit, because they both, Donald actually was handling her modeling career and talked us into even allowing her, because we were friends with him. So he really started her out, and then Graydon spotted her, in New York and did this whole story on her. So that really was when people started to see.
Yeah, certainly the tape wasn't the first thing we'd heard of you.
Right.
And you were building a very nice career for yourself. Vanity Fair was a key part of that. I know that. Having Donald Trump supporting you as a model, very, very important, given all his relationship with all the pageantry and the beauty contest. And he's a powerful ally to have. When this whole tape thing blew up, what did Donald Trump say to you?
Said he was furious at
he was
him.
angry.
He was really angry.
Did he advise on how to deal with it?
Dad and I talked with him mostly.
Yeah,
I mean,
mostly they talked.
He would just see, when he'd see Paris hug her and go, "I love you," and,
He was so supportive.
really supportive.
When you see your mother this upset by it, it must really upset you, doesn't it? I mean, it upsets me, and I'm not one of the family. It's hurtful to see any mother be this upset by something like that.
It is. It's something that we don't talk about.
We don't ever talk about
I try not to think about it, and we just don't talk about.
We're going to take a break, give you a bit of time to have a breather here. When we come back, I want to talk to you about celebrity, about what we can clearly see can occasionally be a pretty side to the upside that comes with being famous. Back now with Kathy and Paris Hilton. Obviously a very emotional part of the interview just now. It made me think hard, really, about modern fame, whether it's really worth it. Obviously, it's very lucrative to you, Paris, and the family, I guess, benefit from some of the fun stuff that goes with being very famous. But when I see your mum in that state, I see a downside, which is clearly there. What do you think of the whole fame game now that you've had enough time to be in it for a while?
Well, I've been doing this for 15 years now, so half my life, and there's its up and downs. It's hard sometimes. There's so many amazing things that go with it, but just like anything, there's the bad and the hard that goes with it too.
What are the things you wish you didn't have to put up with, other than what we've just discussed?
One of the things, just in the media, there's all these people who I've never met before, maybe people from my past who want to sell stories and make money, so they'll make up these crazy stories and people believe them.
I mean, listen, I'll play devil's advocate. I'll represent the media, which I used to run two of the big newspapers in Britain. And I would say that, come on, Paris. I mean, you play this game smartly, you play it aggressively, you use the media to make money, you know all that argument that comes the other way. Are you really, this is a tough question, but it's an important one, are you really entitled to any privacy, given the of your private life that you put out there for commercial gain?
Well, when you're in this business, this is what you sign up for, so there's going to be no privacy. So
is that a price worth paying in the end?
Sometimes not.
Unless you have really thick skin.
I've really grown a thick skin over the years, and I've had so many things said about me, and it's hard, but I feel like what else at this point, everything bad that can happen to a person has happened to me.
And if you try to correct it, then you're making it a bigger deal. But the new way with the media is they will call you and say, we have a story and we have a deadline, and we're going with it. We got a source says blah, blah, blah. And so do you want to comment or not? And they know that it possibly isn't even true, but they will just go with it.
If I could offer you a deal where Paris didn't go through that door marked fame, as a mother now, would you take that deal and stop her doing that? Stop her becoming famous? I mean, she said she's got harder.
If she didn't have to go through what we had just talked about, yes, obviously. I mean, I did think she was going to be a veterinarian.
Did you?
She was a tomboy. She didn't even care about clothing or any of that until we moved to New York.
You could have been a vet.
I wanted to be. So I love animals, so since I was a little girl, it's always what I wanted to be.
Paris, you hang out with a lot of people, Lindsay Lohan and all those guys over the years, some of whom have really fallen badly.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you manage to deal with the fame and fortune and celebrity and others just fall by the wayside? What do you think is behind that?
I think it has a lot to do with your family. I am so fortunate that my parents have been together forever. They're supportive, they're there for me, they love me for me, and I think these other people, their parents are living off of them, and I don't know, they just don't have that home life. I don't know. If I didn't have my parents, I don't know. I feel very lucky to have my mom and dad, and I love you.
I love you.
You see, I feel that. I think that is the truth, a lot of this. A lot of these people who are damaged, you look at the parents, you look at their upbringings, there's always something there. Often it's a lack of love. There's a number of people I interview where they say they never got told by either parent, or at least one of the parents, that they love them, ever. And it's almost like they then go and crave it somewhere, and that craving leads to other cravings, and they become addictive personality. This lack of a basic human commodity, love.
I have a lot of love. And my parents were very strict growing up. My mom, I think, was a little too strict. Made me rebel.
Do you think you were?
Yes, I do.
Deliberately, do you think?
Well, it was my first child, and I thought, this is, my little china cup, and I didn't want it to break. And I think I was probably too overbearing and strict, and that's why she would start to sneak out. And
the rest is history. Paris, Kathy, when we come back, I want to talk to you about your very good friend, Michael Jackson.